California Congressman Khanna. He sits in the Armed Services and Oversight Committees. Congressman, as always, sir, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on this. You heard Secretary Mayorkas seeming optimistic an immigration deal was going to get done. I'm seeing some reports, especially in Politico Playbook this morning, that Republicans are saying essentially negotiations would be happening in the Senate, because either way, whatever hits the table in the House is going to have to get wildly redone. What do you make of that? How optimistic are you that a deal is going to get done on immigration?
I have a lot of concerns that it would pass the House. We have not had anyone from the Hispanic caucus part of the negotiations. None of the Latino senators have been part of the negotiations. Look, I believe in border security, but what I don't believe is taking away the president's power of parole, and I believe it has to be humane, and the relevant people are just not there. The administration will be surprised if they expect the House just to rubber stamp the deal they strike.
So you're saying, essentially, even if the Senate is able to get something passed, and that's an if, it's going to have to get reworked in the House, which may take some time.
Absolutely. And if you have the chair of the Hispanic caucus getting up in front of the House Democratic caucus and saying we weren't involved in this negotiation, we never spoke to someone at the White House or the Senate leadership, I don't think you're going to get many House Democrats voting for a deal like that.
So with that, we know in order to get aid for Ukraine, for instance, Republicans want a deal on immigration, right? So it's a standstill when it comes to this ongoing war in Ukraine. How crucial is that aid for Ukraine right now?
It's absolutely crucial, and we should have a standalone up or down vote on the aid to Ukraine. And I strongly support the aid to Ukraine. But what I don't support is getting rid of America's commitment to asylum or parole just to give aid to Ukraine. I mean, we're not going to compromise our entire values as a nation over that.
What about a potential government shutdown, sir? You guys have a lot on your plate as I'm going through this list of things you need to get done as you return from your holidays. Hopefully you rested up, but we're 16 days from a potential government shutdown after this laddered CR passed by Speaker Mike Johnson. What are the expectations there and the efforts to avoid a shutdown?
You know, it's sad we're seeing this drama over and over again. And the reality is there was a deal that was struck by President Biden and the previous speaker, Speaker McCarthy, about 6 months ago that I didn't love, that many people didn't love. It had some spending cuts, but it was a way to fund the government for the end of the year. And all we need to do is stick to that framework. The Republicans aren't willing to stick to the framework their own previous leader negotiated. So the question for Speaker Johnson is going to be, is he going to be able to get some compromise, or is he going to have the same blackmail that McCarthy faced? It's an unenviable position.
Well, so what's the word, though, as Americans are sitting at home watching this 16 days away? I mean, is there a possibility we could be headed towards a shutdown here?
I think there is. I think the question is, will Speaker Johnson do the responsible thing, like Speaker McCarthy did at the end, and he put the funding on the floor to keep the government open? I hope Speaker Johnson will do the same thing. I don't know if he can do that and keep his job. Obviously, McCarthy was unable to do that. And that's just the dysfunctional nature of the Republican caucus. There are 20, 30 members who want drastic cuts, cuts on Pell loans, cuts in home housing assistance. And no one is going to go for that on the Democratic side.
Congressman, I'm going to let you go because you got a lot of work to do, sir. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Coming up, everybody, what's next for